It's such a joy to introduce you to Hannah Droll. She is a mom, a wife, a photographer, and now a Connection Codes certified coach. And I have so much joy when we have someone come on the podcast where we can hear their experience. What makes them tick? What is happening underneath the surface for them? There's something that Hannah mentions in the podcast where she says that she tends to stay pretty regulated when things are big happening in life. She can handle those big moments, but gets really dysregulated over the small moments like spilled milk. And whoo, when she said that, I felt so seen and so much identity because I am right there with you, girl. And so I love featuring new voices into our community so we can all recognize we're more alike than we think that we are. So without further ado, let's meet Hannah. Welcome to the Connection Codes podcast, where we help you go from disconnection and confusion to clarity, confidence, and connection. Whether it's in your marriage, your business, parenting, or just figuring out what's going on inside of you, we're here to help make emotions feel less overwhelming and way more useful. I'm your host, Tierra Wages, mom of four, CEO, speaker, and a big believer that emotions are not a problem to fix, but a tool to master. The Connection Codes are tools created by marriage and family therapist Dr. Glenn Hill and his incredible wife, Phyllis. They've helped thousands of people just like you experience real transformation. Let's get into it.
Hello, world.
Hi, friends. We are so excited to be in the studio today with a very special friend and Connection Codes coach, Hannah Droll from Texas. So we don't want to spend any more time talking about us. We want to talk about you, Hannah. So welcome. And for our listeners, tell us a little bit about you and your Connection Codes journey. Like, how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah, awesome. Well, my name's Hannah. I have 4 kids. I've been married 18 years now. Moved to Texas when I was 21. So my brother is Elijah Runyon, who's been on the podcast a few times. I adore my brother. He introduced me to Connection Codes, gosh, was it like 4 years ago-ish? And I read part of the book, it was like, meh, and then put it down. And then from there.
That rave review. Yeah. I hope you wrote that out. Gave us a
Disclaimer, I am not a good reader. So when I had a book in front of me, I was like, I don't want to finish this. I started listening to the podcast, and that really started to sink in, especially the first couple ones where you guys told your story. Mine's very similar with my husband. And I was like, I need this in my life right now. So I needed it, 15 years ago, whatever. So I started implementing it in our marriage. I got the digital book so I could listen to it audibly. And it really the book with the podcast for me is what connected things. And I was able to piece it together and realize what I've been missing my whole life. So once I started implementing it in our marriage, my husband was like, at first, I'm not going to talk that way. You can't get me to talk that way. Do not put me in a box, and he'll tell you that. He just was like, no. So when I started oohing him and being present for him and not leaving, that's when he was like, are you doing that Connection Codes thing for me? Yeah, he felt so much identity, so loved and shocked that I would stay in it when he was angry or venting or anything like that. And I just stayed and was present with him. And so that just started building with us. We continued to use it together from then on out. And we both have just developed a passion for getting it out into the world because of how much it's just transformed our lives. So
yeah. And let me interject there because you say it so smoothly. but the fact that you would stay with him in his struggles, because for most relationships, it's either just a war. It's like, well, if you're going to escalate, I'm going to escalate, and here we go. Let's just burn the whole house down. Or one person just exits and says, peace out. I quit. And to have the courage and I don't know what all it is, just the fortitude, the guts to stay in it is power. And Terry always tells me to be sure and mention, we're not encouraging people to stay in an abusive relationship. Not the point at all. But every relationship has struggles. Any two people living in close proximity are going to bump into each other.
Yes.
And to, in that moment, say, okay, I'm not going to escalate it, but I'm also not going to exit. I'm going to use a third choice here, and I'm going to be present and you. It would be safe for you. So, wow, that's spectacular.
And to add to it too, I think the turning point for me where I was like, I'm going to start using this diligently because this is like my last resort to see if this works, was we were in counseling, and one of our counselors told me, when Ben wasn't on the call, my husband, that he's a narcissist. And I told them, I said, that's a death sentence to a marriage. And I probably won't be back, FYI. And so when I heard that, I had so much anger toward them for saying that and just deciding for me that my marriage was over, that I said, I'm going to try something else. So I went full bore on connection codes. Like, I'm going to see if this works. And it was almost instant transformation. So anyway.
Wow.
That's amazing. So then what have been the biggest, and you kind of shared some of the winning points, but what have been the biggest challenges for you?
Oh gosh. I mean, you've sat with us quite a few times.
I won't deny that.
Yeah, I have had a really hard time with depression and anger at myself and things like that. So when I started doing connection codes and just staying in it with Ben, and oohing him, but also feeling intense pain at the same time, it's been mostly the times when we're both flooded at the same time. That has been, who's going to take the risk? We're both just, sometimes we just walk away, or we come back later. But that's been really hard, is when we're both flooded at the same time, and it doesn't happen super often. And then also, I've had to learn how to stay present with myself when it comes to when I feel intense emotion and regarding myself. But I would say the top thing that's been really hard for me is recognizing my own emotion. Because when things get really intense, I check out and I kind of float away, is what I say. I don't know if that's where RBF comes from or what, but my face, it changes, and people who don't know me start to get scared of me, because I check out and I become someone else on the outside. On the inside, I'm in a different land somewhere else. So that's been really hard. And Ben's been the one to come to me and help me see, hey, Lou, where'd you go? What happened for you just now? And that's been really helpful to have him on my corner with that. So
So you're describing a word. So what is that word that maybe our listeners would be more familiar with?
Yeah, so I call it disassociation. My brother mentioned it to me a couple years ago, and I was like, I don't do that. But then I actually, the other day, if I could share just the short story, we were at Chipotle, my husband and I, and we're sitting outside, and I can see inside, and I can see the door with glass. So I can see the people standing in line waiting to get their food. And one lady, I feel some like shame in this because this is just the silliest thing, but it set me off. this lady was wearing a white shirt with blue floral print, which is like kind of a trending pattern with floral pots right now. Like a lot of floral pots are like ceramic white with the, blue flower prints. And so I was like, oh, that lady's shirt should be on a flower pot. That's what I told my husband. And he goes, oh, and he just doesn't even look behind him. And I'm like, I just told you, like the lady, and he turns. He's gonna be so mad at me. He doesn't like when I like reenact, but he does. But he turns so slowly around. And by the time he turns around, she's gone. She's out of the sight and she's in front in the line where she can't see her. So I was so irritated, but I didn't say anything. And I didn't even realize all of the speed up that was happening in me. I just checked out. I just went somewhere else. So I kind of, I hear him say, what just happened for you? And it snapped me out of it. And I was like, oh, is that what Elijah was talking about when it comes to disassociation? Like I literally just floated away. Yes, that made me really mad. So then we were opened up for conversation. I said, I think I lost some identity. I think I felt like what I said to you didn't matter. And what like there was no sense of urgency to be like, oh, get involved in what I'm saying. Yeah. So I felt hurt by that and just lost my identity. And we were able to process through in 45 seconds. It was really fast, but I just, I was like, thank you for snapping me out of that. I think I need you to do that more often.
Wait, you have to say that again. How long?
Like 45 seconds.
You don't realize what that says to people. Because you know our story. We spent 30 years where 45 seconds is a pipe dream. That there's no such thing. You're talking Martian language here. Here on planet Earth, we don't do that. We do not even we would have taken 45 minutes. We did 45 hours. We did 3 days. We did 3 weeks of that struggle. And still, I don't know if we ever really settled it. We just gave up. And usually by then there's 2 more disconnects that have happened. So we're focusing on the more recent one, and we didn't keep track. But we probably spent entire calendar years lost from each other, not because we're bad people, not because we're stupid, not because we didn't care about each other. We just didn't have a clue. So the fact that this freak named Hannah says 45 seconds, and I say that to people, it's like, welcome to Freakville. This is, and there, I guarantee you there are a lot of our listeners that are just going, that's not true. She's just saying this for the podcast. She's just saying it to be nice to Phyllis and Lynn, because it's not a thing. 45 seconds, dear goodness, that's, wow. I hope you recorded it.
And I didn't think in the past, like before Connection Codes, I didn't think I mattered to him. I didn't think he cared about me. I knew in my head, he just doesn't care. That's just, and countless times I feel like couples miss because they think, we've been together X amount of years. I know him already. And that it's been shocking, the things that I've learned about my husband. And 99.9% of the time I'm wrong. I'm like, I'm listening through a filter of my own. I should have been asking this whole time more about him. And now I feel like I know we have no secrets between each other anymore. Everything's out. It's just incredible.
Wow.
I was thinking a lot about this topic because Hannah, you and I have talked about this. This is kind of what led to having this podcast, is you and I talking about disassociation. And I've just thought about, okay, I lived there so long. I didn't know that I was disassociating or that there was a term for it. And so I was thinking just in the last 24 hours about what my experience was, because I think that, especially for our listeners, you may not know the word disassociation, or you may not even know how to check in with yourself to go, do I do this? And I think that for me, it was like I would have conversations in my head while I'm staring at Glenn blankly, but I would not dare to say it out loud.
Yeah.
So I had so much fear in our relationship of just saying what I was really thinking. And I thought that to keep the peace in our marriage, I would just disassociate and stare at him blankly. But I was talking a mile a minute in my head,
Yes.
but I didn't feel like I could say it out loud. And I think that for me, it was like I saw it as a way to protect myself was to disassociate. But the problem with that is your body then is the armor, right? Like you're just creating this armor that it's like no one can get close to you really because of that armor. And then for sure, Glenn does not have a clue what's happening with me because I'm not saying anything. And we were with Echo, our oldest, on a road trip earlier this year, and she witnessed a situation where I disassociated. And so she asked me about it afterwards, and it was so shocking to me because I thought it was my little secret. Like no one knows, right? It's just my secret. And yet, because I changed so much in those moments, it's almost like, no, no, no. Everyone can tell. You're just not saying it. And so I'm just have been so committed lately to show up authentically every time and not just have a conversation in my head to Glenn, especially. I think he's the one I disassociate with the most in my life, where I'm so afraid of conflict, which I get it. My body has stored the trauma of our early years of marriage, which were so exhausting. And so where my trauma response goes is if I say what's in my head, if I tell him the pain, if I tell him the hurt, tell him the anger, well, then we're going to fight for 3 days. And that's exhausting. And I can't do that. So I'll just shut down and stare at him blankly. And, when it's happening, it's not like I'm really thinking all those things. Like it happens super fast.
Yes.
But he can say, Glenn will say, I lost you,
Good. Yeah.
And so, and I forever didn't understand because I'd be like, what? I'm right here, and he goes, I can see it in your eyes. I lost you.
Yeah.
And I think that, for just to understand, first of all, how unhealthy it is to sacrifice yourself in that way. And so describe for our listeners a little bit more like what's happening in your body. Like I was sharing how for me, I'm having a conversation in my head to anyone that will listen, but I will not say it out loud. So for you, what does it feel like when you disassociate?
Man, it's hard. It's like I'm frozen in time for me. So when I disassociate, most of the time it's like my body just does it on its own, but I don't even know I'm doing it. So it's kind of hard to access what actually is happening, but it's like I just go blank. Like nothing's happening up here. I go blank and I just space out. I don't know, start daydreaming or yeah, it's super weird. And I couldn't tell you like what I was thinking about when I trailed off after I started disassociating at Chipotle. I couldn't even tell you what I was thinking about. I just know that when he said what's happening for you, I was like, oh. And I remember I remember my father-in-law takes a lot of home video stuff. And like 15 years ago or so, we were in Tennessee for Christmas, and he was videoing just the family at Christmas time, Christmas morning. I was sitting on the couch, and I remember sitting there feeling joy. I remember sitting there just like, I love being here. This is so much fun. I saw that video when we got back or whatever. I looked pissed. I look so mad. And I like thinking back, I'm like, was I disassociating back then? Did something happen that because I remember feeling joy? And even like my childhood, I have all joyful memories. I have maybe 2 big dramatic memories, and that's it. Everything is sunshine and rainbows. And I was like, I think maybe you don't remember everything, but I don't know. I think I've been doing this. I remember being like 7 and thinking I should probably be experiencing something different than I am. I should probably have a little bit more of an emotion meter going on with this situation because it's like a big event that's happening, but I didn't feel anything. Nothing. Wow. So I don't know like how that is or how long that goes back or how it starts, or I have no idea, but I know for the longest time, big things are huge in my life, I float away from. I disassociate. Things that are small, I'm in it. And I'm like, what the heck? Why'd you spill the milk? I'm that mom. So like little things are like, big things. I'm like, no big deal. So it's very fascinating to me.
Yeah. Well, I love just that you say that. It's so good because that's part of our mission is to get every human on the planet curious about themselves.
Yes.
And to stop judging, to just go, what happens for me there? I feel like I'm missing something, and to become curious about your own case study, just to observe and be like, okay, no judgment. I'm not fussing at Glenn. I'm not fussing at Hannah. I'm not fussing at Phyllis. She's like, okay. So I see that's right for you. So redoing it, pure connection code style, what would happen in Chipotle next time?
Redoing it? I don't know how to redo it better because I don't know what's happening. So it's, but I mean, I think it worked out perfectly in the sense that Ben was like right on it to notice and help me through it and process through. But I don't know. You tell me what I should do differently.
Well, I'm not going to say should. Can I guess something?
Yeah, I'd love that.
It sounds like it was just a sad experience that, just a lot of, sad fires in the pain region of the brain. So you're feeling pain because he didn't look. You're feeling joy about this, if I'm hearing you right. Yeah. It's just like, oh, cool. Look at that. That was it a shirt? I forgot already.
Blouse, yeah.
So look at that. So much joy for you. Well, it's probably zero joy for Ben. He doesn't even care. It just doesn't have any value to him, not because he's bad or wrong. It just doesn't. It's a joy experience for Hannah. It's not for Ben. So he's not really motivated to look. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. And then by the time he gets around to looking, it's too late. And that's just painful for him. It just feels sad. So my goal, my dream for everybody on the planet is just that in that moment, Hannah's able to go, oh, sad. Ben instantly, because we brainwashed him with the 3 phrases, he goes, what's happening with sad, babe? What am I missing? You go, well, I feel sad because I was feeling joy about the blouse. It's just really cool. And you didn't get to see it. And I just feel sad.
Yeah.
And then he says, so what do you need? And you go, well, I need next time for you to look faster. But then Hannah says, you don't have to, but that's what I need. I'm not demanding it of Ben. I'm asking, but I'm not demanding. And then that pain, because that pain is real. And let me say that real quickly too, because a lot of times people, especially when I'm doing sessions, we talk about whatever, the Chipotle experience, the toothpaste, the, whatever, the milk, the lid wasn't put back on it. And people are like, well, this doesn't matter. It's all the same cycle. Yeah. It doesn't matter what the fill in the blank is, what the issue is. And people think that, we need to wrestle through the big issues. No. It's the same 2 people. It's just Hannah. She only has one psyche. And it's Ben. He only has one psyche. So it doesn't matter what the fill in the blank is. Right. So this is just as significant as whatever the other scenario would be. And I think you even started out, I can't remember, saying that, oh, it's just this silly scenario. No, it's a real scenario.
Yeah.
This really did happen for Hannah. She did feel pain and she did start to dissociate. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, let's just break that down. We call it freeze framing it, slicing it thinner, figure out what happened. Oh, that's where Hannah got lost from herself because she didn't
Yes.
verbalize it. And if I may interject, throwing in, I always say there's two weird things about the connection codes. The first one's the identity piece because nobody talks like that. Nobody says, babe, I received so much identity when you did that. You walked behind me and you touched my shoulder and, oh, I just felt valued. I felt some identity. Nobody talks like that. And we're trying to change that.
No.
Well, good. I'm saying percentage wise, we're still at 0%. And then the joy piece, to say joy. And I don't know, we're never told what would have been, but my hunch would be if Hannah had said, oh my gosh, joy, babe, look at that woman. I feel so much joy looking at her blouse.
Yeah.
Probably would have cued Ben in better because we connect through core emotions, not through logistics. Right. And you presented logistics, which are true, they're real. I'm not saying they're not, they don't exist, but it's the core emotion that actually activates him, human to human, not the logistics so much.
When you were telling the story, at some point you did say, I think you said you felt pissed. Is that what you said? Was that your language? Okay. So slow yourself down and go back to the moment. What was the first like right as you were disassociating? What was happening and what were you feeling?
I was feeling fear. The slower he turned around to look at her, I was feeling fear because I saw the line moving. And I had, I think mostly the fear was fear of the pain of feeling like what I was saying didn't matter enough for a sense of urgency to turn around. So mostly that, like when I feel pain, it's typically extremely intense. And so usually it's the fear of the pain.
Yep. Wow. That makes sense to me. So a few minutes ago, you said like you react big at little things like spilt milk, but that's not with Ben. I immediately pictured your kids, right? So it's almost like, because in a way, some people would say, hearing your story about Chipotle, that's a little thing that happened that you disassociated. So I believe, just based on your own narrative, that it's the fear of pain with Ben. And there's probably other people as well. Often there is, you can probably name a short list of people that your body reacts that way to. But you don't feel that with your kids because you kind of feel like, I can yell at my kid when I want to, or whatever. Right. You feel more powerful maybe with the kids, or you can show up more authentically with your kids because it sounds like the fear of pain is more associated with Ben. Yes. And so I think about that with my relationship with Glenn. I have a fear of pain, and I called it conflict earlier, but I mean, it's the pain region of my brain that's firing, right? It's the fear region that is the fear of the pain region, and it's like, and yet my first reaction often is that pain. I'm aware there's pain. I'm aware there's hurt. Then my fear region goes crazy because I'm like, oh my gosh, if I tell him my hurt, we're going to have a conflict. And then if I'm not careful, it's really easy for me just to go into my head and to start talking to whoever will listen, but I'm not saying a word, I'm saying it all in my head. And I mean, I'm saying words, like I am very aware of that. And I think that it's wild to me to be 62 years old. And I feel like I'm now learning how to say, ow, when I feel pain. And I think Glenn often is almost shocked, like, and he'll say to me, is this like something new, or have you actually been feeling this for 43 years that we've been together 47, like for 47 years. And I can't win, but I often just say, yeah, I've been feeling this a long time. I just wouldn't say ow. And so it's easier for me to disassociate and go somewhere else. But my somewhere else is usually just a conversation in my head. And so that's, and part of the reason why I wanted us to talk about this today, because when the term disassociation is used, and maybe this is just in my world, but often it is only linked to sexuality. So in a sexual activity, people disassociate, like, yeah, my body's here, but my mind's not. But to realize we can disassociate all day long when we are not authentically saying, I feel fear, I feel pain, I feel anger. Like when we're not sharing at the core, then we are disassociating to the people around us. And that's pretty huge, because that's so damaging to our bodies. And because then we're just storing it. And I think it's interesting because you used the word, when we first started talking, you said, what'd you call it? Like, that you go somewhere else.
Yeah.
But yet you don't really know where somewhere else is, right?
No, I don't. I just float away into La La Land.
La La Land, right? So I would be so curious, even for you to take some time to think about, what is my La La Land? Where do I go? Like, for me, as I've just shared, I'm just having a conversation in my head. So I don't go very far. I'm just not saying it out loud. Now, when it comes to disassociating sexually, which I'm also aware of in my past, then I was definitely going somewhere else. Like I was on a different island. Like I was somewhere else. My body was somewhere else. So I know the difference for me is because I've had that part of my story as well, disassociating in sex. But then to realize I disassociate when I feel pain, and then I feel fear of expressing my pain. And so then I just go into my head and I just start having conversations as though I'm having them with Glenn, but I'm not. It's just that's so unproductive, right? No one's hearing me. I'm just saying it in my head.
Yeah, and let me say that too, just to emphasize it, because, and again, you said 45 seconds, which is just spectacular. But if you don't do that, if you don't convey, if you and Ben don't process through in that, 45 seconds, it does not go away. It does not disappear. It doesn't get deleted, black highlighted. It's still there. And now Ben is a pain source for Hannah. So they go to get in the car together to drive home, and Hannah's in the car with a pain source. Well, Ben doesn't know that. He's like, what? Because unfortunately, Hannah doesn't have a printout on her forehead, the stock price tracker, which would be awesome. Because if she did, it would say pain, 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 and Ben would go, babe, your forehead's saying pain. What happened? What did I miss? And Hannah's going, well, when you didn't look to see the woman, I felt some pain and a little bit, probably maybe lonely, sad, whatever it was, hurt. And I was feeling fear whenever you didn't turn fast enough, and fear of the pain, and then I felt some fear about what that was going to do or whatever is happening, and you process all that through. If that doesn't happen, where are these two going to be in the next 10 minutes, the next hour, the next 6 hours, the next day, the next 3 days? And that's the reason, again, we talk about the cycle. It doesn't matter what the fill in the blank is. And some fill in the blanks are bigger than others. I mean, if you burn the house down, it's like, well, shit, that's a big, I'm not supposed to say shit, sorry. But I was quoting Ben saying that. Okay, that was me saying, I was quoting Ben saying that. That's okay. But, if something like that happens, that's a big thing. But it's the same pattern, the same cycle that happens. So I just can't commend you enough because it's just so powerful. And that's one of my great frustrations in coaching with the connection coach, is getting people to go to that level, because they think they're supposed to talk about the big event, from last February.
Right.
No. It's right now, right here, right now, because if Phyllis doesn't process that pain with me, I'm now the pain source and I don't even know it.
Right.
She's still feeling pain, and that pain is very real. The brain doesn't distinguish physical pain from emotional pain, and it's real. It doesn't just dissipate.
I think it's incredible that Ben is on board, because you were saying, when you first started introducing him to connection codes, he was like, oh, no. This is not for me. I'm not doing this. And for him to show up at Chipotle and to be able to say, wow, Hannah, what's happening?
Yeah.
What an incredible partnership. What an incredible difference. And I think for our listeners, just so much hope in that. Like, oh, I need you to partner with me so I can figure out me. Like, as in, and we were talking about this yesterday, like the best way when you are partnered and you're the first one to be introduced, how do you bring your partner in? And I think often and we were talking about this because I think someone else had mentioned it in something that we read, but it's kind of like if you hand your partner the book and go, you need to read this, you need this. Well, then they're just going to be like, so you're saying there's something wrong with me?
A hard sell.
I don't need this because I'm fine. I am fine. But when you're able to go, oh, I need you. Like, I need you. It's something that, like, if you could help me with, isn't that kind of how you described it yesterday in our conversation?
Yeah, it says, hey, could you help me with something? Right. I mean, people will break down brick walls to help somebody in need, to help a vulnerable person. And when we present it that way, you can't sell it to anybody on the planet. You walk in the room and go, hey, you need some help here. You got some issues, and here's a book. Read this book. Yeah. I've never met the person that's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I mean, immediately there's a wall up. Because you just attacked them, you just criticized them, and they feel criticized.
And I encourage women too, who, they're married, their spouse isn't on board, or whatever, similar story to me. I didn't push it. I don't, because I know, as soon as you start pushing someone, they resist. That's just a natural response. And so for me, I just started doing it for myself. And I shared with him, hey, I am going to be starting doing this. I just want you to know I'm practicing speaking a new way. This is kind of what I'm doing. And I would love if you join me. If you don't feel like it, that's fine. But this is for me. And he saw the change. And even my 16-year-old daughter, who, we introduced connection codes way late to my kids, which I'm so mad about. Why didn't you guys tell me sooner? But she and my 14-year-old son both don't, they feel like, using connection codes, they're like, I don't want to talk that way. That feels robotic or doesn't feel organic or natural or whatever. But I use the language with them constantly. I've started receiving birthday cards of like, I know that I rag on connection codes or whatever, but I have really seen a change in your life and Dad's. And so my encouragement is trust the process. People see the change, they see the difference, and they see it working. And that's what sparks curiosity. And if they're not coming to that conclusion themselves and putting in that work, it's not as powerful. And so it's just really cool to have him on board now, but he was not at first. And but when he experienced it from me, when he experienced me using it with him, it was like, oh my gosh, I feel so known. Holy cow. I want to start doing this with you, So trust the process. Yeah.
Love that. Amazing. Trust the process.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to run out of time. We got 3 things we still have to cover. Number 1, I just want you to talk briefly about your business, photography business. Then we have to talk about coaching, just what your experience was of that, and what your long-term, and then we have to do the wheel.
Oh, good.
Okay. Wow. That's so much. Cool. I love it. So yes, I am a wedding photographer. I love photographing couples. I also have a studio in my home where I do newborns and cake smashes and all the fun things. I've been doing that for about 14 years and just so much joy in that job. Oh my gosh. And then I just became a certified connection codes coach. So that has been incredible, getting to sit with people and sit in their pain with them, really just guide them toward that roadmap of connection and reconnecting with their significant other, their kids, has been really rewarding. I have seen just so many lives already, just in short amounts of time, change. I'm working right now on getting some testimonials together because some of these stories are like these couples are like sobbing. They're like, I don't know, I'm going to get through telling the review, you know. So it's been really life-changing to see so many couples changed by it. And then I'm starting to speak at MOPS and different churches and things like that so that I can just get the word out to the moms and really help them through how to talk with their kids. So my daughter she has OCD and diagnosed with it, significantly high levels, and just life has been really hard for her. And doing connection codes with her for the past 3 years, she's a different human being. I mean, she gets through those stressors way better. So I have such a passion to work with a lot of moms and just how to be there for their kids in the right way.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that so much. So just another minute on you going through the program. So the coaching program is 8 weeks.
Yes.
What some of your highlights? Because I know that it's not just a learning program. It's a very interactive program that we have to certify coaches.
Yeah. You guys really throw us in there in a gentle way, which I love. No, you know, I've met some incredible people. Everyone in there, just salt of the earth, really just everyone has a heart for each other. And we really got to work with each other and coach each other and hear each other's pain and learn throughout the entire process how to really stay on the roadmap to connection, really how to be there for, I mean, I feel like even my marriage has gotten just the next level up in this whole process, just because we're able to interact, ask questions real time, like, hey, I'm not sitting with a couple with this question, but in my life, this is what's going on. What do I do? And it's just been really eye-opening, and the material that you guys give out and the homework, everything, it's really made me realize, okay, I need to be doing this every day, all the time. And man, super life-changing. My husband's joining the next cohort, so I think I'm going to be on the next one too.
Wow. So I wanted to throw that in today, especially because we are gearing up for our next fall cohort, which starts the middle of September. And so if you're listening today and you want more information just about that, we've got exciting things happening in that program and just some new things we're about to roll out. So we're working really hard for that. But yeah, before we completely run out of time, we love to do the core emotion wheel. And when we have a guest, we always ask them to do it before we end our session, our time with you today. Can you do that, Hannah?
I can. I didn't prepare anything. I wanted to, but I'm challenging myself. Do it on the fly.
Okay.
The authentic, non-disassociated Hannah.
Non-disassociated Hannah. Okay, so yeah, I'll start with fear. Fear in doing my first talk in front of a large group. A lot of fear in that, but so much joy in how much feedback I'm getting on how many people are so drastically changed by this. Joy being here with you guys, joy just in even like opening up this topic has been really cool. Anger, usually anger I experienced toward myself. I missed it I found out recently that I missed it with my son, Jacob, who's 12. I did a post about it on Instagram, but he is feeling too much pressure to do coding. And he's like, I just need the pressure like off. It's too, I need an out. I need and so just missing it with him on that, just some anger with myself and some guilt as well. Hurt at how slowly my husband turned away to look toward the lady with the shirt. That was hurtful. Sad. My body has just been feeling sad lately, I think. Just low energy, not like a ton of spunk in my step. And so the motivator factor of getting work done is harder. So sad. My body feels sad with that. Lonely. I feel lonely when I photo edit. I have to do it by myself. No one can be there with me, except my dog, Timmy. So I feel lonely with photo editing often.
Wow.
I think I got everything.
Did I miss guilt and shame?
Yeah, guilt about.
I said the guilt, the shame. Shame. Just when I still miss with my husband, I feel so much shame in that. Just why can I not be better? And so I have to really slow down and figure out what's happening for me. But definitely some shame and recent misses. I think that's everything.
Wow.
Spectacular.
Yes.
Love
my goodness. Hannah, thank you for being with us today. It's so amazing. And we do all of this because
you need this.
You deserve this. So let's do this.
Wow. Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you for sharing your story, for being vulnerable and raw so we can all realize that we're going through very similar things. Logistically, it may look different, but at our core, our emotions are the same. So thank you for being here. So much joy that we got to hear from you. And for our listeners that come back every single week and share our podcast, you are the real MVP, truly. I see our reviews going up. Those of you that have left us that 5-star review, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you're listening to this and you're curious about starting your own journey, I loved Hannah said she bought the book and it was having a hard time actually reading the book, which I totally see that. I love that she solved that problem by downloading the audiobook. But she started with the book, and it was the podcast that really started to shift things for her. If you're one of our listeners that are saying, I've been listening for a while, I have heard these episodes, I binged, I'm ready to go deeper, there's going to be a link in the show notes where you can find out about our certification program, and be sure to be on our newsletter right now because we have a huge, massive announcement coming very, very soon. It affects anyone that's wanting to either get certified as a coach or ready to dive deeper into these tools and find connection in your life so you can find yourself in a Chipotle getting dysregulated and your partner knows what to do. So we would love to have you join us on this mission of connection. And as Glenn and Phyllis say, let's do this.